Welcome to the Just Nuke It podcast. Okay, so get ready for another apocalyptic probe into the fringes of survival and the echoes of what was this week. We're diving into two flash fiction stories that explore how the past, in its most unexpected forms, might just hold the keys to navigating a shattered future. You shared these with us. And we think you'll find the twists and turns particularly thought-provoking.
Yeah, very interesting stuff.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Cool.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how these two very different flash fiction stories, both set after cataclysmic events, circle around this central idea that what's been left behind, whether intentionally or by chance, can offer surprising pathways forward.
That's true.
It almost makes you reconsider what we value.
Absolutely.
And what we might be discarding too readily in our own world.
Totally, yeah. The first flash fiction story that you sent, Voices in the Ruins, throws us into a world struggling after some kind of global collapse. You'd naturally assume the survivors would be clinging to whatever technology they could salvage.
That makes sense.
But this narrative takes a really interesting detour.
Oh, really?
The only real guidance comes from the visions of the Oracle of Delphi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big departure.
Yeah.
So the brilliance here is in that stark contrast. In a world stripped bare of its technological infrastructure. This ancient figure, this symbol of myth and prophecy, reemerges as a source of hope. It speaks to a fundamental human need for meaning and direction that maybe technology alone can't always satisfy.
Makes you think.
Yeah, it really does.
It's like a classic quest. But instead of medieval heroes, we have these post-apocalyptic survivors trying to decipher ancient wisdom for a shot at a better future.
Wow.
Yeah. And our protagonist, Z, she's very much rooted in the practical, the scientific.
The very logical.
Living amidst the ruins and failing tech. The idea of relying on something as seemingly archaic as ancient myths must sound completely illogical to her.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a scientist. So Z embodies that survival-first mentality. The reliance on empirical evidence you'd expect in such a harsh environment.
Makes sense.
Her initial skepticism acts as a counterpoint. A way for us, and perhaps even for Z herself, to question whether a purely rational worldview is always sufficient. Especially in that kind of situation.
Exactly.
But then this intriguing catalyst appears. Drones start behaving erratically.
How?
And their flight patterns eerily mirror satellite images of Delphi.
Interesting.
For Z, this isn't just random malfunction. Her nerd hunch kicks in. And it ignites this desperate hope for her crew.
It's that moment where a scientific observation seems to validate something that on the surface feels purely mystical. That's a clever narrative bridge, isn't it? It provides a potential scientific basis for the seemingly supernatural. Allowing Z's logical mind to engage with the possibility that there's more to the Oracle than just old stories. It's not just...
Prompts us to consider how seemingly disparate fields of knowledge might actually intersect in unexpected ways.
Exactly. And then we meet these unlikely guides on their journey.
Okay.
There's Ari, the classicist, whose book of myths suddenly becomes this crucial survival manual.
Oh, wow.
Almost a prophetic text.
Interesting.
And Nisha, whose autistic mind interprets maps in terms of these early lines and places of power.
Really?
Yeah, it's such a compelling mix of perspectives showing how different ways of seeing the world can offer unique advantages.
Absolutely.
For someone in your field, dealing with listeners' field, does this resonate with how diverse teams can tackle complex problems?
Absolutely, yeah. This highlights a crucial insight. In times of upheaval, established expertise might become obsolete. And individuals with unconventional perspectives can become vital assets.
Interesting.
Your own field, listeners' field, might have overlooked methodologies or viewpoints that could offer surprising solutions to future challenges.
That makes sense.
Nisha's ability to perceive patterns others miss, whether it's in drone behavior or geographical layouts, underscores the value of neurodiversity in navigating complexity.
Absolutely.
For those unfamiliar with the term,
Yeah.
Lili lines are often described as alignments of ancient sites,
Right.
sometimes associated with energy flows, a concept that blurs the lines between the physical and the more esoteric.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Their journey to Delphi is fraught with peril. Right.
Echoing historical patterns of displacement and conflict.
Right.
Refugees, warlords, environmental devastation.
All the classics.
Yeah. It really brings home the idea that even in a post-apocalyptic future, some of the darker aspects of human history seem destined to repeat themselves.
Yeah, sadly.
And through it all,
yeah,
Z is wrestling with this internal struggle.
Okay.
Can she reconcile her scientific understanding with the seemingly irrational events unfolding around her?
So that's a tough one.
Yeah.
This tension is key to the story's impact.
Okay.
It forces us to consider the limitations of a strictly scientific worldview.
Right.
When confronted with phenomena we can't readily explain.
Right, yeah.
Is there space for intuition, for belief, even for what might be labeled as superstition when logic and reason reach their limits?
Makes sense.
It makes you wonder about the inherent human need for narrative and meaning, especially in times of crisis.
Absolutely.
And then these moments of what seems like incredibly good luck start happening.
Really?
The landslide that saves them from ambush?
Oh, wow.
The crows inexplicably leading them to water.
Interesting.
Is it just random chance in a chaotic world? Or is there something else at play?
Yeah, is there something more to it?
Yeah, the flash fiction story cleverly leaves that question unanswered.
It leaves you hanging. That ambiguity is deliberate and powerful.
Right.
It allows for multiple interpretations. Perhaps these events are simply coincidences.
Okay.
But the survivors, fueled by hope and their growing belief in the oracle, interpret them as signs.
Makes sense.
Or maybe, as Ari might suggest, there is some form of ancient power or destiny guiding them.
That's interesting.
This uncertainty keeps the reader and Z on edge, questioning the nature of reality itself.
Totally.
Yeah.
They finally reach this valley.
Okay.
Remarkably untouched and lush. A stark contrast to the ravaged landscape they've been traveling through. And there, against all odds, stands the Temple of Delphi.
Wow. So it's still there.
It's this incredibly potent image of the past enduring even the most catastrophic present.
That visual juxtaposition immediately signals that this is a place of profound significance, a potential sanctuary. The temple's survival serves as a powerful symbol of resilience.
Makes sense.
Suggesting that even in utter destruction, echoes of the past can persist, perhaps holding forgotten wisdom or power.
Yeah, maybe. But instead of a traditional oracle dispensing cryptic prophecies, the atmosphere itself feels charged.
Really?
A strange humming in the air.
Interesting.
Nisha's technology malfunctioning.
Wow.
Ari, speaking of thin places, areas where the veil between worlds is said to be permeable, and Z experiencing a deep sense of unease.
That's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's as if the environment itself is reacting to their presence.
Yeah, like it knows they're there.
Yeah.
This shift away from the expected oracle creates a palpable sense of anticipation. And hints that the guidance they seek might manifest in a completely unexpected way.
Interesting.
The sensory details, the humming, the tech glitches suggest a disruption of the natural order.
Right.
A place where the boundaries of our understanding might be stretched.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And just as they arrive, this classic post-apocalyptic problem rears its head.
Oh, no.
Scavengers drawn by rumors of treasure.
Right, so they're looking for...
Arrive, creating instant conflict. It's a stark reminder that even in the pursuit of something greater, the fundamental struggles for survival and resources persist.
Yeah, that's always going to be an issue.
Yeah.
This intrusion of human conflict grounds the more mystical elements of the story in the harsh realities of a shattered world. The scavengers represent the ever-present threat of exploitation and violence.
Absolutely.
Even in the shadow of something potentially transformative.
Yeah.
So we see this potential sanctuary.
Right.
But the flash fiction story cleverly reminds us that even in the face of the extraordinary, ordinary human conflicts persist.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But the real twist comes with how the Earth itself responds.
Oh, really?
It's not just a cave-in or structural collapse.
Okay.
The ground literally begins to reform,
Right.
and this monstrous creature emerges.
Uh-huh.
It's a mythical guardian made flesh in this devastated world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is where the flash fiction story truly blends the ancient with the contemporary apocalypse.
Excellent.
The emergence of the Python,
Right.
traditionally the guardian of Delphi, transforms what might have seemed like a symbolic quest into a very real and immediate life or death situation.
It's a huge shift.
It forces the survivors to confront the legends in a tangible and terrifying way.
Yeah, and Nisha's reaction is pivotal.
Okay.
She doesn't just react with fear. She recognizes it.
Oh, wow.
The Python. It's not myth.
Right.
It's energy, a guardian.
Wow.
This is such a fascinating reinterpretation of ancient lore through a potentially scientific lens. When she says energy, it makes you wonder about different ways of understanding these ancient stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nisha's recognition suggests that the mythical creatures of the past might have had a basis in something tangible, something we've perhaps lost the ability to perceive or understand.
Interesting.
This resonates with current scientific explorations into consciousness and the interconnectedness of systems. While fictional, it prompts us to consider that our understanding of energy might be more limited than we think.
That makes sense.
Even in your work, on listeners' work,
Absolutely.
her autistic perspective seems to offer a unique insight into the true nature of this guardian.
Totally, yeah. What follows is this incredible fusion of old and new. Ari is reciting ancient verses, while Nisha is frantically making calculations with her technology.
Interesting.
It's like they're speaking two completely different languages trying to solve the same ancient puzzle.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
This juxtaposition underscores the central theme we touched on earlier. The potential for synergy between the wisdom of the past and the tools of the present.
Right, that combination.
It suggests that navigating the complexities of a post-apocalyptic world, or indeed the complexities of our own, might require us to integrate seemingly disparate approaches to knowledge and problem solving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Z, the initial skeptic, comes up with this ingenious solution.
Oh, wow.
She uses a jury-rigged pulse grenade, but instead of setting it to destroy, she calibrates it to resonate with the creature.
That's pretty clever.
It's her scientific mind finding a nonviolent solution based on understanding the Python's nature as energy.
Z's action is a brilliant example of adaptability. She doesn't abandon her scientific principles, but she applies them in a new context, informed by Nisha's intuitive understanding of the Python. It highlights how true innovation often comes from applying existing knowledge in unexpected ways.
Absolutely.
Even drawing inspiration from seemingly unrelated fields.
So creative thinking.
Exactly.
The creature recoils, and then this profound silence descends.
Wow.
So unlike the usual chaotic sounds of a post-apocalyptic world,
interesting.
It's as if the very air is still...
Yeah, like everything's holding its breath. That moment of silence signifies a shift in the dynamic. It's a temporary reprieve, allowing the survivors to process the extraordinary event they've just witnessed. And to perhaps sense that the nature of their quest has fundamentally changed.
Makes sense.
The unusual stillness emphasizes the significance of their encounter with the Python.
Absolutely. And within the temple, they don't find the expected gold or relics.
Oh, really?
But a crack in the floor emitting a strange pulsing light.
Interesting.
And Nisha, a tech expert, her excitement is palpable. Ancient tech.
Wow.
A signal.
That's pretty amazing.
It completely subverts the traditional treasure hunt trope.
It really does, yeah.
When discussing ancient tech, it makes you wonder about real-world instances of lost technologies being rediscovered and their potential impact.
What could we learn from that?
Totally.
The discovery of a signal, rather than material wealth, suggests that the true value of the past might lie in knowledge. Communication, and the potential for connection. The label ancient tech adds another layer of intrigue. What kind of technology could have endured from such a distant past? And what might its purpose be?
Yeah, that's a huge question. This signal leads to an unknown destination. Okay. Leaving the crew in this liminal space between terror and hope.
So it's not a happy ending.
It's not a neat resolution,
okay,
but rather an uncertain future brimming with possibility.
Right.
It makes you think about how often true breakthroughs lead us into uncharted territory.
It really does.
Yeah.
The unresolved ending is a powerful narrative choice.
Right.
It leaves us pondering the implications of this discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Where does this signal originate?
Yeah.
What awaits them at the other end?
Right.
The flash fiction story reminds us that survival is often a journey into the unknown.
Right.
Filled with both peril and the potential for something new.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Z's journey is really the emotional core of this flash fiction story.
Okay.
She starts out so reliant on her intellect.
Right, so very logical.
But by the end, she's embracing the impossible.
Wow.
Learning this new language of myth and signal.
That's quite a transformation.
She comes to realize that adaptability,
Mm-hmm.
this willingness to look beyond the purely rational,
Okay.
is absolutely crucial for survival in a world turned upside down.
Right. She has to change her whole way of thinking.
It makes you wonder about times in your own life, listener,
Yeah.
when you had to adapt your thinking in unexpected ways.
Uh,
Were there any myths or unconventional approaches that surprisingly held the key to a solution?
right. Have you had to think outside the box?
Totally.
Z's transformation highlights the importance of intellectual humility
Okay.
and the willingness to learn from unexpected sources.
Uh-huh.
Her journey from skepticism to a more open-minded approach
Right.
underscores the idea that rigid adherence to one way of thinking can be a liability in a rapidly changing world.
Absolutely.
It speaks to the power of integrating different ways of knowing.
Yeah, like looking at things from different angles.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's shift gears now and plunge into our second flash fiction story.
Okay, what's next?
The Wind That Whispers.
Interesting title.
This one paints a dramatically different picture of the apocalypse.
Okay.
A world completely buried by sandstorms,
Oh, wow.
where the remaining survivors exist in airships, navigating a sea of dunes.
Wow.
It's another compelling quest driven by legend,
Interesting.
this time pitting them against the relentless elements and long-forgotten technology.
So it's a different kind of apocalypse.
Yeah.
The Age of Sand presents a truly visceral environmental catastrophe.
Right.
Instead of the rapid collapse of civilization, we have this slow suffocation.
Okay.
A world gradually being erased by the very ground beneath it.
Interesting.
This forces a radical adaptation with humanity taking to the skies, becoming almost nomadic, clinging to the remnants of a world they can no longer inhabit.
Yeah, forced to adapt.
Exactly.
And our protagonist in this tale is also named Z.
Okay, another Z.
But a Z with a different history.
Right.
This Z is an archaeologist.
Uh-huh.
Her goggles patched.
So she's still hands-on.
The sand skimmer turbine whirring.
Okay.
As she navigates a landscape where old maps are worse than useless.
Right, they're outdated.
It really emphasizes the sheer scale of the environmental devastation.
Yeah, you can really feel it in this story.
Yeah.
This Z embodies a different kind of relationship with the past.
Right.
Rather than initial disbelief,
Yeah.
she has a professional dedication to uncovering and understanding it, even in a world that has largely dismissed it as irrelevant.
Interesting.
Her very profession speaks to the enduring human need to connect with what came before.
Yeah, we always want to know where we came from.
Exactly.
Her crew is another fascinating mix of personalities.
Okay.
We have Ari again.
All right.
But this time, his prophecies about cities punished for hubris feel even more urgent.
Oh, really?
Then there's Nisha, who reads the shifting wind patterns as if they were ancient texts.
Wow.
And Benji, Z's fiercely protective brother.
So it's like a family affair this time.
It's a tight-knit family unit navigating this desolate world.
Wow.
It's interesting how both flash fiction stories,
Right.
those set in vastly different environments, feature a character like Nisha who can interpret the world in unconventional ways.
Right.
In Voices in the Ruins, it was Lee lines.
Okay.
Here, it's wind patterns as ancient texts.
Interesting.
What does this tell us about the potential value of neurodiversity or non-traditional thinking in navigating crises, even in your field of listeners' field?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It highlights the enduring value of diverse perspective.
Okay.
And the potential for seemingly unrelated skills to become crucial in unexpected circumstances.
Right.
Ari's focus on past mistakes serves as a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
While Nisha's ability to decipher the environment in a unique way offers a vital survival skill.
That's true.
This reinforces the idea that a broad range of knowledge and cognitive styles can be essential when facing unprecedented challenges.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Their quest is sparked by these tantalizing whispers, seismic anomalies beneath the sand, and persistent legends of swallowed cities.
So are these cities real?
It's this powerful human desire to believe in the possibility of something better.
Right.
Even when the visible reality is so bleak.
I understand that.
It's that hope that keeps them pushing forward.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
These whispers represent the faint echoes of a lost history.
Right.
Almost like buried memories, refusing to be completely silenced.
Mm-hmm.
The seismic anomalies provide a tangible scientific basis for the legends.
Okay.
Suggesting that there might be more than just folklore buried beneath the dunes.
Interesting.
It's that intersection of myth and potential reality that drives their exploration.
Yeah, they need something to go on.
Absolutely.
Their descent into a massive sandstorm is absolutely harrowing, pushing their airship and their own limits to the breaking point.
Oh, it's a close call.
It really underscores the immense power of the natural world in this new era.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Mother Nature.
Where the environment itself has become a formidable and relentless adversary.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
The sandstorm serves as a brutal obstacle.
Right.
Emphasizing the fragility of human endeavors in the face of overwhelming natural forces.
Right, yeah.
It highlights the immense risks involved in trying to unearth the past.
Absolutely.
And the sheer determination required to pursue even the faintest glimmer of hope in such a hostile environment.
Yeah, they're really pushing themselves.
Yeah, they're not giving up.
And then they witness this almost unbelievable sight.
Okay.
A solitary shard of a skyscraper piercing through the seemingly endless expanse of sand.
Wow. So they found something.
It's this incredibly striking, almost surreal image of the old world stubbornly refusing to be completely erased.
That skyscraper shard is a potent symbol of a lost civilization.
Right.
A stark reminder of the scale of the catastrophe that befell the old world.
Yeah, it really puts it into perspective.
Its survival, even in this fragmented form, suggests that the past still holds secrets.
Right.
And potentially vital information.
Okay, so it's not just a random shard?
No, it could be important.
But what they uncover isn't just crumbling ruins.
Okay.
Ari discovers this intricate mosaic floor, and it hints at something much more deliberate.
Right.
An engineered burial.
Wow, so it was intentional.
It suggests that the fall of the old world wasn't just a random disaster.
Okay.
There might have been intent behind its disappearance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The discovery of engineered structures in the mosaic floor introduces a layer of mystery beyond simple archaeological excavation.
Right.
It raises questions about the reasons behind this deliberate burial.
Right, like why do they do that?
And what secrets these intentionally hidden places might contain.
Makes sense.
It suggests a level of foresight. Or perhaps even a final act of desperation from those who came before.
Like they knew what was coming.
Exactly.
And then the past literally reawakens as a threat.
Oh, no.
The sand shifts, revealing these sleek, metallic husks, dormant sentinels that suddenly reactivate.
So they were lying in wait.
It's like the buried past isn't just waiting to be found. It's still armed and incredibly dangerous.
That's not good.
Yeah.
The reactivated sentinels introduce a new and formidable challenge.
Right?
They represent the technological legacy of the past, a legacy that has now become a direct threat to the present.
Wow, so it's like the past is coming back to haunt them.
It highlights the potential dangers of forgotten technologies.
Absolutely.
And the unintended consequences that can arise from past advancements.
Yeah, like we don't always know what we're messing with.
Right. Sometimes progress has a dark side.
Their current weaponry is completely ineffective against these automatons.
Oh, wow.
They're utterly outmatched.
So they're in trouble.
Highlighting how the rules of survival have drastically changed in this sand-choked world.
Yeah, they need a new plan.
Brute force alone is no longer a viable solution.
Right, they have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
This underscores the critical theme of adaptation once again.
Right.
The survivors can't rely on conventional methods of combat. They're forced to think differently.
Right.
To find a way to understand and potentially even manipulate this ancient technology to survive.
It's like they have to learn from the past to defeat it.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that in the face of new threats, old strategies often become obsolete.
Yeah, you have to adapt or die.
And once again, It's Nisha who has the crucial breakthrough.
Wow, she's coming through again.
She recognizes the automatons as part of an interconnected network.
Oh, interesting.
Signal. They're a network.
So maybe they can hack it.
It's this realization that offers a potential pathway to overcoming this seemingly insurmountable obstacle.
Okay, so there's hope.
Nisha's insight is pivotal.
Right.
By recognizing the interconnectedness of the automatons, she shifts the focus from a physical confrontation to